Retro.
You are now live with the Locked In Podcast. As always, your hosts for the evening, Steve Ushler and George Menchai. If you're watching on YouTube and you're not already subscribed, make sure that you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to turn notifications on to stay up to date with the most current personal development tips and sports analysis. With that being said, welcome to the podcast and enjoy the show.
What is going on? What is going on? Locked In Nation. What's up, guys, ladies, gents, guys and gals? What is up? What is going on? Welcome back to the Locked In Podcast, your hub, your personal home, personal development tips, sports analysis, and more. So we are back, 4-week hiatus. I was going through something personal. I'm here, back on the mic now, and I'm excited to talk about this topic tonight. We got two of the other boys coming in tonight. And at one point, we got Rich Mitchell, a.k.a. Rich Ham Media on YouTube. Follow his channel, guys. If you are indeed Philadelphia Eagles fans, you want to check out Rich's channel. Rich has a lot of great content surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles, and that content's only going to pick up as the season goes on. So check out Rich, R-I-C-H, space M, space media on YouTube if you want to check out Philadelphia Eagles Birds content. We also have Mario Raffaelli coming in tonight. He's more of a tentative here tonight, so we will see if Mario makes his way in. I think he might be able to for a little bit. The topic tonight, guys, you saw a promo on Facebook, if you saw it on Instagram, it is we are talking about caring too much. So this happens a lot in life. It's something I can tell you right now. I dealt with today. It's just sometimes we get into these people-pleasing habits, guys. We get into these habits where we struggle to say no to those around us, and we become people-pleasers. I'm very, very guilty of it myself. Can't lie. Accountable. I'm always transparent with you guys here. So it's something that I want to improve in my own life. But I've been taking small steps to kind of get. I'm no expert on it. I'm taking small steps to kind of grow out of that. And it's weird. I don't really have a problem having boundaries inside my career, but sometimes in my personal life, I struggle a little bit, especially those I hold a close connection to. So I feel like sometimes I care too much. And it's not necessarily a bad thing to care less. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of drawing those boundaries, build them up. We're going to talk about that tonight. We're going to talk a little bit just on a general level. That's it's my guy Rich here. Give me 1 second. It says yeah, Rich is having a little bit of trouble getting in. Let me send Rich this link real quick, guys. And I'm still going to talk as I'm kind of doing that. So yeah, we're talking tonight, caring less. It's just you gotta kind of draw those boundaries. It's very important. It's very important for your own mental health here. Yeah, let me see something here. Let me send Rich this link through here. We want to make sure that we get these guys on. And I'm going to send him this now through iMessage. Let's get my guy on here tonight. Here's the link. But yeah, it's I don't mean to hold up the show, guys, but try to keep this to within an hour. I don't want to go too late. It's Thursday night. I had some prior commitments where I couldn't get on here at a typical about 7:30, 6:30 time slot. So I'm literally running from one thing to the next. I'm here. I'm in the building. So guys, comment tonight. If you like what you see, hit the like button. If you're not already subscribed on YouTube, make sure you hit that notification bell to turn notifications on, and make sure you hit that red subscribe button as well, because we want you to be subscribed to our content. If you're interested in personal development, if you're interested in sports, specifically in the Philadelphia area, but we also carry outside the Philadelphia area. And you don't want to miss this channel, because we are releasing great stuff. We got some bangers coming. We got great content, a new mindset, a different focus, and we have a good schedule lined up. So this is a refresh part of the channel here. The intro, you probably heard a little bit of a different background music playing. That's a start. It's a small step. But we're going to try to stay consistent with changing up the music here and there, changing up the intro. And here is my guy, Rich. What's up, brother?
What's up, bro? How you doing? How's everything?
Good, man. Good. Yo, I'm happy to be back on the pod with you, my brother. Thanks for joining in tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it, bro. Just hard at work. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, so my setup's not exactly where I want it to be, but I'm just glad to be here with you, man.
Yeah, man. Likewise, brother. Likewise. I know that, man. I know that. We're all working hard out here, man. I know you're putting in that work, man. You're juggling a lot of different things. So I appreciate you carving out that time to be here tonight, man.
Of course.
Yes, sir. I was actually promoting you before you came on. I was like, Rich M Media, guys, check him out on YouTube. Bird season is right around the corner. We're nearly here, guys. It's literally like 8 days away. Birds are kicking off Friday night versus the Green Bay Packers next week. And Rich has great Eagles content, and the content's going to increase now that this football season is back. So,
yeah, 100%, man. Well said. Well said. Just excited for, the new roster, especially the new coaches, because you can have good players, but if coaches don't know how to use them, then it's really no point. So I'm glad that, we got coaches in the building now that know how to use the players right. But the thing is, it doesn't matter till you get on the field and prove it.
Yeah, man, they got a hell of a test, too. It's going to be probably one of their hardest games of the year. They're playing that first week there, so it's in a different environment. But Green Bay's got to go to that environment, too. It's not a home field for them. But I expect it to be a little sloppy. It's going to be a little out the gate, but, it's also going to be a little weird for Green Bay, too, because it's like they're playing in a stadium, traveling as well. So there's going to be a little hiccups, but the Eagles can take that first game. I think they have some great things going ahead into that Week 5 bye, so possibly an undefeated schedule going into that bye.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited for the schedule up ahead. I really see really big possibilities for the schedule. Really happy, even with the practice squad that just got released like yesterday, I believe. Just it's a lot of good players on there, a lot of familiar faces that I've seen that we kind of let go, and I was kind of worried, like, are we going to get them back? And they made it through the waivers, so we were able to get our players, so that's good.
Hell yeah, man. And now they really shored up that wide receiver core with having a true wide receiver 3. They were able to get what's his name again from the Commanders? Oh, I'm blanking on the name here.
Are you talking about Dotson, Jahan
Dotson,
Dotson?
John Dotson.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And people, I know some people were hating. Like I think Cowboys fans are like, oh, she was behind McLaurin, blah blah blah. It's like he's not that great. He had like 500-600 yards this season. He's a wide receiver three.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver three. He's essentially replacing what Quez Watkins was, and he's way more consistent. You know what I'm saying? So
Way more. That's what I said. Like 500-600 yards. I will take that from a wide receiver three any day of the week. I think we have the best wide receiving core in the league at this point now. Even running back game with Saquon, I would say Niners probably got the best running back in the league, McCaffrey. But I'll give them that. But our wide receiving core is better.
yeah, no, man, I couldn't agree more. Like I really am into the wide receiver core. It's just kind of like sharp knives, sharpen sharp knives. Like you gotta have like these guys in here to teach these D backs what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because our D backs, to be honest with you, one big part of the collapse last year was our defense. Unfortunately, with the switching of defensive coordinators from Deshaun Desai to shoot, I forgot his name already, man. But
Brian Johnson.
no, no.
You're saying on the defensive side.
Yeah, on the defensive side.
Matt Patricia.
Yeah, to Matt Patricia. There we go. From Deshaun Desai to Matt Patricia. That was just something like I've never seen before happen right in the middle of the season. Defense actually got worse, not better. So I'm happy to be saying that we have Vic Fangio. I'm happy to be saying that we got Kellen Moore. We just need some experience because, I just think that it's not good to have coaches with no experience trying to instruct players who are very experienced. It's gonna be an element or a sense of how can I say it? Like a lack of respect, for better terms. Like it's just the players. It's going to be hard for them to respect somebody who they kind of got to school and educate while they're trying to do their own thing. So it's good. It's good to have coaches in here who are experienced now.
Agreed. Couldn't agree more. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what this offense does because I know once they settle in with all the motion that Kellen Moore does and with the talent we have on this offense, I think this is going to be a filthy offense. It's going to be very, very difficult for defenses to stop. The defense worries me a little bit in the middle of the field still, linebacking core in particular. Those linebackers, they still worry me. And I'm curious to see what the D-line can do because I think if the D-line can have a good year, that kind of takes pressure off the linebackers. But I am a little worried with Reddick being out of here. I see what Bryce Huff can do. He's got big shoes to fill here. That's going to be – Reddick's got a lot of drama going on right now off the record, like outside this, like behind the scenes, like a lot of different stuff going on with him not showing up to camps and stuff. But nonetheless, the guy is a talented as hell edge rusher. So it's huge shoes to fill. Curious to see what happens there. Offense, I'm not worried at all. I think this offense, once they settle in together with the coordinator, I think this offense is going to be very difficult to stop. Pending everybody stays healthy, I think it's going to be very difficult. Yeah, we lost Kelsey, but Dickerson is still really, really solid. And you got to understand, Kelsey picked some of these guys, too, through the draft. So he handpicked, I think, Dickerson. And I think some of the other people's, like, when they were thinking of people who were going to, like, replace him eventually.
Yeah, Cam Jurgens, one of them.
Jurgens, exactly. Yeah. He handpicked Jurgens and Dickerson. So –
I agree, man. You mentioned some really good points, man. You said motion, man. Eagles were like the last in the league with motion.
None last year. Brian Johnson's offense had no motion, man. We saw it, dude. Horrible.
And motion is the thing that, and if just in case for the viewers who don't know, motion is a big thing that quarterbacks use in the league now to identify whether there's a man or zone coverage. Yes. So it gives a quarterback information before he hikes the ball even. And what you do when you take away motion, you take away that information from your quarterback. So thankfully, Kellen Moore is a big motion guy. So I'm looking forward to that too. Looking forward to seeing Jalen Hurts bounce back just because I don't know if you remember earlier in the mini camps, the interceptions that they were saying was a problem with Jalen Hurts. Well, when he came back to training camp and he went through almost the whole training camp down to the last day where he got picked off the last day. I believe it was Darius Slay that picked him off. But, I mean, and even that they said probably should have been a sack. So to be honest with you, man, I'm really excited for Jalen Hurts to get in here and really show a lot of the haters and naysayers, some of the people who were, even like they had players voting, who's the most overrated quarterback, and they had put Josh Allen up there, they had put Jalen Hurts up there, and I was just like, man, some of these guys, and one of the main guys that were talking through those articles and whatnot, they're defensive players on the NFC East, so of course they're gonna have their trash talking, and we can guess who it is because it's a one particular player in the NFC East that's a defensive player that's always had Jalen Hurts in his mouth, and that name is Micah Parsons.
He wants to
Micah,
be here so bad, man. He wants to be here so bad.
yeah, I agree.
Oh man, if he had an opportunity, like his contract, if he had an opportunity to come to Philly, man, and we could make a roster spot for him, he would absolutely be here, man. It's just, yeah, Hurts. I understand, the criticism. That's why this is going to be a good year for Hurts. I think to get back to where he is. And I know the topic's not even football, man. I know, but we always be talking some Eagles. We always try to, even though we're talking personal development tonight, we still incorporate some sports here because we're excited for next week. But yeah, no, it's going to be. I think it's going to be a good year for Hurts to kind of bounce back. It was tough last year. And when you don't have any motion and you have such a stagnant offense, I don't care how talented the players are. When you become predictable, it's very difficult. We were watching one game where they threw a screen 3 straight plays and it got blown up. Like the same exact screen. It's like literally it seemed like there was 10 plays in the playbook. So I don't care how talented you are. If you're predictable, teams are going to figure you out, especially solid defensive coordinators. So great point that you brought up, though. Hurts, I've heard great things in camp about this. He's been taking care of the football, not turning the football over. He's been very careful and cautious, except for that, like he had that one slay, but I've heard he's done a great job in this offseason at taking care of that football. So I'm really looking forward to the season and hoping that translates into the regular season.
And can I tie this to the actual subject? Because I know that's not the subject, but I wanna kind of tie to the audience what the reason why we're kind of talking and implementing sports into this, because a big part of an athlete's mindset is you have to seal out the outside noise. And that's one reason why I kind of ended that our little sports talk with a little Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts is one particular athlete that is always, whether it's a sports analyst on ESPN, whether it's someone, who's out, in another player from another team, or even like just some people who just don't like the guy, you know what I mean? For whatever reason, whatever happened with him in college, getting benched and things like that. He got benched, it was someone who had the perception or someone who had the opinion that he wasn't good enough. You know what I mean? And what do you do? How do you respond to that?
Yeah. And a lot of the analysts I know that gave Hurts a hard time last year, I'm going to be honest, when you go back to like the year before, a lot of those analysts, when he was doing good things, didn't have much to say about him. So, I look at some of these guys, like on Speak, I forget what his name is. Is it James Jones? I forget.
James Jones, I think
James
so.
Jones. Yeah. He had a lot to say about Hurts last year. I know he busts like Shady's balls and stuff like LaShawn McCoy, but he had a lot to say. But if you look back like the year, like he was really quiet, man. It's like these guys are quiet when with big things. And he rode the Cowboys a lot last year, riding Dak Prescott and stuff. I'm like, a lot of these guys are quiet when they're doing big things. So, you can't be like that. Here's the thing. You want to criticize the guy when he's not doing well? Fine. Do what you got to do. But if he's doing well, give the person their dues. Give them their flowers, man, because, it's just like you can hate all they want, but Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl. Yes, he played on a great team, but he still made it to a Super Bowl. So Josh Allen, I feel like, they say he's overrated too. Josh Allen, I will say he comes up small in a lot of big situations, but I will say his opponents in the AFC have been very difficult opponents. He's always either facing Mahomes or like a Joe Burrow. But I will say that that one game, not this past year, but the year prior when he played Burrow and they got beat at home, they got beat pretty bad.
Yeah.
That was a bad game. Josh Allen has a lot to prove too. A lot to prove.
Yeah, man.
A lot to prove. He's a guy that, he's ranked the top 5 quarterback in the league. And I do think statistically he is, but still in big moments, he just throws a lot of picks and turns the ball over. And, he's talented. We saw last year when he played us,
It's kind of crazy, man, when you put things into perspective to see athletes who have proven themselves time and time again have gotten to the highest stages of their sport, and they're still being told that they're not good enough, man. That's kind of crazy to me. Like,
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy, man. Like,
that's what I'm saying about caring too much, like the topic. There's actually, guys, you can actually find a hype video out there. And Jalen Hurts is actually saying what I have as a topic here. He says, control. He's like, all right, baby, control what we can control. I think he says something along the lines of, let everything else fall. So it's like you control what's inside your control. However, there's a lot of external circumstances, different things that happen, not just in football, but in life. Football, injuries, things happen. The outside noise, people are going to talk. At the end of the day, people are always going to talk. And at the end of the day, it's like you can't control what others are going to say. However, you can control what you can control, your performance, your common collectiveness under pressure. Those are the things you have to control. That's in real life. It's in football, but there's actually a good hype speech where Hurts is actually saying that. He's like, let's control what we can control, and let's let everything else fall.
yeah, man, I agree. I mean, um,
Keep it simple.
opinions, my dad used to tell me growing up, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like,
Exactly.
everyone's going to have an opinion about something, whether it's good or bad, don't let it control how you feel about yourself or what you're doing, don't let it drag you down. You feel me? Everyone's going to have an opinion about where you are in life or what you're doing currently, and, where they think you should be, or and it's just like something that is, sometimes it can be constructive, and then sometimes it could be, you got to kind of take the meat and leave the bones, so to speak.
Yeah.
When someone's putting their opinion in, so even with the negative opinions, you can take positive from that, and that's how the title says control what you could control. That's how you could control what you could control. You could control your mindset on a topic. You could control, all right, how you respond if someone says something nasty or negative to you. You can choose to either laugh about it and move forward, and we're not, obviously, all of us aren't perfect at this. Like, even myself, what I mean, I even am working on myself in this area.
Me
You
too.
know what I'm saying? So, it's really just about really controlling the things that you could control at the end of the day. And controlling the things that you can control can entail maybe changing your routines. You know what I'm saying? Maybe changing the way that you see things philosophically. You know what I mean? Because sometimes a lot of the things that pull us down have to do with our core philosophies. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we have to reevaluate ourselves and evolve in order to
Yeah.
grow in a positive manner. Yeah.
That's true. Sometimes it stems from early on too. It's like, we care so much about what others think because maybe we were always seeking approval as children in the household and stuff too. It's like there's a lot of things that go into it, but yeah, it's carrying too much. It's like it can, like I said, we were talking sports there, but carrying into real life, it's like a lot of times it's like we essentially become people pleasers. We just care so much about hurting other people's feelings that we don't even take our own into consideration. It's like not everything in life has to be explained, and like we have to be able to just control things that are inside of our control. People are going to talk, and people might not like you and say things about you. I'm going to be honest. Anybody who's saying something negative about you, they're probably not in a good place themselves, because most people who are happy are not out here gossiping and talking trash about other people. I'm gonna be realistic, and you'll know. And anybody who, like, if you're still like, if you're younger, or you're like growing, or like even if you're like our age, like around 30, you learn throughout life is that you start to see that most of the successful people that are around you, the people that are doing well, it doesn't even have to just be financial success. It could be success in many different areas. They're usually not. They're not over here, bad mouthing other people, different things like that. So people, that's the thing. Sometimes we care so much about what others think about us. The majority of the time, it's like you can only control who you can control. You can't control other people's opinions. You can prove people wrong by doing like the controlling the things that are inside your control. But I feel like sometimes we oversimplify things that don't have to be so hard. It's like just take the time, take a step back, control the things in control, and at the end of the day, leave it all out there. At the end of the day, it's like that's all you can do. You have to kind of shift your mindset, shift your perception. And it's
Yeah.
something that I'm trying to be better with too. I feel like for a lot of times I was always available to people. And I think that was something even growing up. And I'm trying to understand that it's okay to not be available to other people. Like, that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with not being available to other people at every single second, being able to help. you have to still fill your tank with fuel, because guess what? If you don't, it's you can't be the best version of yourself and be able to help other people and stuff. So you have to be able to fill your own tank, and you have to stop caring so much. And I was saying actually before you hopped on, it's not a bad thing. It's not disrespectful. It's not a bad thing. You have to understand, like, setting boundaries is big. You have to learn to set boundaries. It's huge.
Yeah, and recognizing even back then when you were there for people, it may have not, even been anything wrong. It may have just been that back then you were able to be, or in a place where you were more able to be there and available for people. But things change, and people evolve. I'm not going to be able to be there for you as much as I can because of the responsibilities that I have as an adult, and going through growth and new responsibilities. Things change.
Absolutely, I do. Mario, what's up, my brother? Let me take that overlay off so it's not blocking you out there. What's up, my brother? How are you? Thanks for joining.
Thanks, man. Yo, glad to be here, man. Dude, my bad. I would have came on sooner. My computer was acting really weird, man. It made me click on like a link from like a podcast that we did back in June. And I came up, it was like a blank screen. So I was able to
Oh,
eventually get to the right link, man. So I don't know what happened. Something weird about Facebook requiring a code or something
Rich,
like that. So,
Rich had the same thing. Rich was saying the same thing. He said that he was joining a podcast that was already done, so I had to send him like a new link. It's
yeah,
weird.
nah, it made me enter a code that I had to like get through my phone. And once that code was entered, all my recent chats came up on Messenger because I don't usually access Facebook on my computer like that. But it came up, and then thankfully I was able to get to the link. But I would have came on like at least 5 minutes ago. I thought maybe there was just something wrong with the stream. I didn't realize that when I looked at the date, it said June 27th. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, dude. What the hell happens, man? You take a 3 to 4 week hiatus, and then they fuck everything up.
Yeah, welcome back, man. Welcome back. Glad to see the show's back on the road, man.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. We were just talking a little bit. We've honestly mixed some sports in here tonight. You know how it is. The Birds are starting next week, but we're talking
Of course,
about
man, of
personal
course.
development. But we're saying about caring too much, and we're saying it happens in real life, but it also happens in sports too. A lot of times, I think athletes struggle to shut out that outside noise. So it's like I was telling Rich, there's a great hype video out there. Jalen Hurts is actually saying, "Control, hey baby, let's control what we can control. Let's let everything else fall." So you leave it all out there, but you only control the things that are inside of your control. At the end of the day, that's all you realistically can do. You cannot control the external. You just can't do it.
What do you say to somebody who is like, yo, I've kind of been tailor made growing up to be a people pleaser, or I have like a lot of habits that I'm just having a hard time, getting rid of that entail people pleasing. What do you say to those individuals?
I would say, first and foremost, you want to try to, I think, figure out like where it comes from. Like if it came from like early on, I would say it probably is coming from like an insecure spot, and that's okay because I mean we all deal with insecurity. I mean I do myself too. I would say you try to identify the root cause of it, and then going forward, just understand that if you're someone who's a people pleaser, you're always putting other people first. You're enough as you are. You don't have to always put people first, but also you have to, like I was saying, you have to understand that you can't really help other people if your battery's on E and if you're constantly out there trying to please other people. Sometimes we even do it subconsciously. It's not like we're on our knees begging for validation. It's like we're just doing it subconsciously. Try to understand like where that comes from, and then try to, I would say, draw those boundaries. But you can even start just really small. Start by, if someone like, I'll give you an example. Somebody calls you. You don't have to explain yourself. Say you're at the gym, or you're taking a walk, or you're doing something for your own self-care. You don't have to answer that call right away. You don't even have to explain to them like, hey, I'm at the gym, I'm doing this, I'll call you back later. I feel like that's something I always used to do. I would over-explain myself. And I've kind of learned that you don't really have to do that. You can literally just let that go to voicemail and then call them back when you're done. Like, and it's all right. Like if the person's calling you like maybe like 5 to 6 times, something might not be okay. Then maybe, okay, that's like a rare circumstance. But majority of the time, it's like, it's something that can wait. Like, don't ever put like your own needs aside to always please other people. Just start small. It could just be something as small as that. In work, we tend to people please too. That's one area that I can say that I've personally always been really strong with setting boundaries. Like in business or work, I feel like I'm really good at that. something I've struggled a little bit with, I feel like earlier on in my life, and even maybe up to this day, is setting those boundaries with people that I have more of a personal connection to, like my personal life. Because I think in work, I just kind of look at it as business. But in personal life, I have more of a personal connection to those people. So, but I'll say just start small and try to identify maybe where it's coming from. I think a lot of time it comes on from early on.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, man, you can't help out people, man, who don't want to be helped. And at the end of the day, you got to put yourself first. You got to put your needs first. I mean, you can try to help other people, but if they don't want your help, man, there's nothing that you can really do for them. I think that for me personally, like when I was younger, I was definitely more along so like of a people pleaser and stuff like that. I was trying to went out of my way to please other people, because I thought it was like the right thing to do and stuff like that. But I'm noticing now that as I'm getting older and whatnot, I'm starting to learn to put myself first and my needs first and stuff like that. So now I may not get back to you right away or anything like that, and I may just be busy, and I'm learning to put boundaries and stuff like that, man, because I don't want to be taking advantage of stuff like that. So my time for me is very, very valuable. So I think it just comes with experience and age, really.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, man. I mean, it sometimes it takes a couple experiences to come along for you to be like, yo, listen, I really don't have the capacity to please people anymore. I don't have the capacity to, do what everyone else wants me to do. Sometimes we got to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? And yeah,
Yeah,
no, very good.
yeah, time's the greatest asset that you have. You have to learn how to use it wisely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There might be people that call you on the phone just to bullshit all the time. I've had it in my life. It's like at the end of the day, we all got friends and we shoot the shit. We're everybody's friends and stuff. But that's the thing. If like people are calling you consistently, say like as you get older and you get more responsibilities, right? Say we get more intense with our careers. We're going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week. We got a family. Like say as you have kids, you have a family. You get married one day. Those type of having the time, like you said, and the capacity to do things as you're leveling up in life, as you get older, it's natural that you have more things going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't always just be there to do things for people. Like say they want to call you to bullshit for like an hour. It's like, I may have had that time in the past, but like, why don't we set up a day to get together and we'll actually have a good time? But it's like, we can't always just be available for each other 24/7. Now I always do tell people, like, if you're seriously going through something, feel free to like if it's not something that's bullshit, like, you really are going through a tough time. I'm always there for like the people that are closest for me. I might not be able to be available right this second, but like, I'll find time, even if I have to lose like an hour of sleep or two, I'll find some time. But being available at the drop of the hat is just not something that's legitimately like realistic.
Yeah.
We don't have that capacity.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense because the older you get, like, you definitely have more responsibilities. I mean, you eventually could have a wife, you can have children, you can have a family, their needs come first or whatnot. So you might not have the time to get back to other people. It's like you said earlier, like that hour that you had when you were younger, you might not have that hour when you're older. You might only have maybe 10, 15 minutes to spare because you have other people that you have to care for, that you have responsibilities to. And I think other people need to understand that.
And that's the thing. That's where the respect comes in. It's like, you have to be a little self-aware. Sometimes you need to put yourself in other people's shoes too. Because I feel like sometimes if we don't understand the situation, we as people, we're human beings, we're not perfect. We tend to get a little frustrated. But like something I've done as I get older now is I always try to put myself in other people's shoes and try to understand the scenario. Because it's like, you got to think if you're coming from their spot, how they would like how they're feeling or how they're looking at something. So, and I think that comes with maturity. It comes with maturity. So, as we get older, we tend to do that more. Now, there's some people that are just so self-centered that maybe they don't, and that's unfortunate. Maybe they're not very self-aware, or they don't take the time to be self-aware. I personally, unfortunately, know people that are grown-ass adults that, could be like personally in their 40s and even 50s that unfortunately are just
narcissistic,
Yeah,
that's
that's a person. Yeah, and that's a personality disorder, and it's something that you have to be self-aware enough to understand that maybe you have that and try to work on it. But some people just never do. It's really sad. It's very sad, to be honest. And that stuff can honestly start from the early ages of a household, or it could just literally be something maybe that their brain chemistry or whatever. But yeah, no, they just very self-centered. It's all got to be about them, and that's just a sad way to live life, in my opinion. Like, it sucks. I don't wish that on anybody. You know, you have to try to see from other people's sides, and like both of you gentlemen were saying over here, as you get older, you just your responsibilities increase. Usually for most people, you know, you get more intense with your career, or you have a family. You know, whatever it is, your goals get bigger, and you know, you just don't have the time that you had when you were 21 years old. You know.
Yeah, you have less tolerance for bullshit.
I agree. Yeah, we're not naive to the bullshit as much, especially since after you know, as you get older, you learn those life lessons, and you've been through so much shit that like you just you're right. You don't tolerate bullshit. You draw those boundaries, and you just don't tolerate that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, man. No, I 100% agree. I mean, even with the, changing perception aspect of it all, your perception automatically changes as if you are growing, if you are evolving, if you are moving with life, your perception changes over time, and that may take the experiences that y'all talked about, having a family or having more responsibilities added to your life, or just being at a point where you're just not down with tolerating any of the BS that you tolerated before. So um, those things will change your perception. Another thing that I'll say will change your perception is to see other people go through certain hardships as well. It can definitely change your perception. If you're the if you're the glass half full type of person, usually it will kind of motivate you to say, hey, look, I'm going to appreciate the situation that I am in, or I'm going to be a little bit more cognizant of the situations that other people are in, and I'm going to use that to kind of be a motivator for people, or to contribute, positively in a social way. Whereas some people who are a little bit less mature, probably the glass is a little bit more half empty. You're a little bit more negative on the negative side, and there's nothing wrong. By the way, I'm not sitting here saying or pointing fingers at those people who have a hard time seeing the positivity in life, because everyone again is at different places, and everyone has different journeys or different experiences. But one thing that you'll see is a person with a glass half empty will take a negative experience, or seeing someone else's circumstances that may present challenges. You know what I mean? For example, I'll put an example out there. Let's say you have a cousin or you have an uncle that has a mental health issue, and it's kind of presenting difficulties amongst the family and the friends. You know what I mean? You can take that opportunity to be like, hey, how can I be there for this person? What tools or what resources does this person need? Or you can take the opportunity and be like, hey, listen, man, I'm not really gonna fool with them. And of course, have your limitations with that as well, because like you said, not everyone can be helped. You can't help someone who doesn't want help at the end of the day. But it's just important to really, one thing that I want to hit home is it's important to start trying to look at what you can take out of situations, however bad they may be. Where's the meat at in a situation where you can leave the bones, you can leave the rest of the negativity, the rest of the stuff. Where is the meat in the situation? All right, well, someone could look at me or look at you and be like, oh, yo, these guys are from Philly, they're no good, or they're from this horrible city, that city's trash. There, man, it's a bunch of shitty people from that city. And you could take it and be like, yo, look, man, I can kind of show you the nice parts of the city. I can show you how hard people work in this city. I can show you how passionate people are about their sports and about their athletes, and how supportive they are. So much. We have athletes that are happy enough to give back to the city. Guys like Bryce Harper, guys like Stott, guys like Jalen Hurts, who have donated air conditioners to the schools. You know what I'm saying?
Even
So we can.
Carson did a lot when he was here. Carson Wentz, he did a lot for the city too. He donated a
Yeah,
lot.
the Carson Wentz Foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, these guys come here, and it seems like Jason Kelsey, all these guys, they love the culture here. They understand this is a hardworking city. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's crime that goes on in the inner side of the city and everything, but it doesn't make the entire city that way. You know, people, honestly, it's a very blue collar city. People get up and they put their boots on in the morning, they go to work, and this is a city that's built on hard work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree, man. And that's not for me to tell anyone, hey, you're the city is definitely for you. I understand. Like, I'm myself, I'm moving to Jersey in a
Mm-hmm.
month or so, but I still want to visit. Like, I still want to come back and remember where I came from. I'm never going to forget where I came from. That's the number one thing. So, you
Yeah.
know, and that's a part of controlling what you can control. You can control how you see yourself and the pride that you take in your own identity and your own experiences. You feel me? Because we all have positive and negative experiences that come with us. But a part of controlling what you can control is understanding who you are at the core and remembering that, not letting anyone or any setting or any influence try to make you forget where you are right now, and how hard it was and how long it took to get there. And really, when you get there and you really understand your identity, I mean, you're golden. Once you understand your identity and who you are at the core, people's perceptions, you can work to change perceptions, or you can control changing your perceptions. But ultimately, what the true definition of controlling what you can control really shines fully when you are 100% happy in your identity and 100% understanding and giving yourself grace, right? A lot of us give people grace, but a lot of us don't know how to give ourselves grace. You know what I mean? And so we got to learn how to give ourselves grace. So our experiences, what we've been through, me, I was married, divorced. I've been through a lot of different situations, man. I've been through, having to go through surgery and having to recover back from that, and to go through physical therapy and car accidents, and I've been a part of law enforcement and the military, and most of the things that I've learned from those experiences are how to persevere, and really understanding that so many different things happen to us. But at the end of the day, what matters the most is how we respond to it. And that's what we can control, you know?
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely,
agree.
man. Yeah, it's just you brought up a lot of good points there. Yeah, no, it's we can only control what's in I had something I was gonna say, but I'm like, I don't know why I just kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, man, that's all that we damn, it's gonna bug me. I had like a good point kind of to go off the control what you can control thing, but it's yeah, it's just that's all realistically that you can do. But you're right. It's just the glass half full, like half full people, like it's like our glass half empty. It's like you can't change someone's perception. They might have a negative view, but it's just like you have to just that's what I wanted to say. We were saying something control you can control. It was yeah, you should always never change like where like your mindset of where you came from. Don't ever let anybody change your mindset or shake you from your core values. Stand on your principles, stand on your values, and that's one thing you can control. You don't have to ever be swayed by someone else to feel like those values or your principles are wrong, because that's what you believe at your core. So don't let people ever like stir you away from that. That's one thing you can control. Your values, your principles, what you tolerate. A lot of times too, we teach people how to treat us. So what I mean by that is we if we allow people to disrespect us by taking up our time all the time because we don't draw boundaries, then guess what? They're so used to doing it, they're going to continue to do it because they're not going to respect. They're not going to, even though they might say they respect you, like subconsciously, they might not respect you because we're allowing them to do what they do. So it's like it doesn't mean they're coming from a bad place, but if they don't value your time, they want to take up all your time with unnecessary BS or drama or whatever. It's like at the end of the day, they're not really valuing you. It's like you have to draw those boundaries to gain that respect. Respect is so critical in different aspects. It doesn't just have to be a romantic relationship, but it can be your friendships, your family. You know what I mean? You have to draw those boundaries. Yeah, they might be mad at you at first, but guess what? They will respect you. So stand on your values, stand on your principles, and you have to kind of earn that respect. We teach people how to treat us. So if you draw the boundaries, you're teaching people to understand that, hey, look, I can't always be there for you know what I mean? Like to BS or whatever. You're teaching people that that's not going to be tolerated. So
Yeah, there's a good old saying, watch what people do, not what they say. And that right there is going to show you just how much respect they have for you. Because if they tell you to your face, oh, I respect you, but their actions are telling you a different story, that right there tells you everything that you need to know.
That's the truth. That's the truth. It
There you go.
absolutely is.
And I think that just comes with age, and that just comes with experience. Like, I think the older you get, the more you realize that when you're really young, you don't have that life experience to go off of. So you just allow whatever comes your way. But I think the older that you get, the more experiences that you go through. It's like what Rich was saying, with everything that you go through and all that stuff, you're going to be less tolerant of the crap that people throw away and stuff like that. And you're going to learn to value yourself even more.
Yeah, no, well put by both of y'all. Well put. Like, I completely agree with everything y'all said. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, life doesn't always have to be so hard. We don't always have to care so much about everything. Like, it's like we care what people think. We care if we draw a boundary, how they're going to react. I'll be honest. If you draw a boundary with someone and they flip out on you for drawing that boundary, I'm gonna be honest. There might not be somebody who's good in your life, because like people that like you communicate that boundary and you communicate it in a clear and healthy way, and they still don't respect it, then the reason they're around you might be for selfish intentions. Because I mean, realistically, it's like people who actually, who want the best for you are going to understand, those boundaries. So if you draw that and, you're like, hey, look, I can't do this, can't do that, and they still don't respect it, then, hey, they might not be someone who's good to be in your life. I'm going to be honest. Like you said,
those are people that don't care about you nor support you. They're with you for ulterior motives. If you're having a respectful conversation with them, man, and they still don't respect you afterwards, then that's how you know to cut bait.
Yeah, it was like Rich said too. That's a good point, Mario. It's like Rich said too. He's like, not everybody's growing and evolving. That's the thing. Majority of people, as you get older, you're growing and evolving. So those things are understandable. But not everybody always is. Sometimes it takes people later and longer to grow and evolve. Some people, maybe they never do. Maybe if like they have a personality disorder, maybe they never ever are self-aware enough to try to fix the issue. They always think that they're right, you're wrong, and it's their way or the highway. And it's like, that's not healthy. There's nobody in the world that is right all the time. And you get to see people's true colors is like when they are wrong, do they take accountability, or do they still say they're right, you're wrong, and whatever they believe is right and whatever you believe is wrong? So they don't take accountability, that just kind of shows who you're dealing with.
Can I just say something to that, what you just said?
Yeah.
Like the people who say stuff like that, like, like you're wrong, like you're like, they just like, they're never wrong. You're the one who, that means that like they don't really respect like your experiences either, because basically what they're trying to say is you're not intelligent enough to have a point, or for me to acknowledge any of the points that you're making in this case. When they say like, they don't want to hear what you have to say, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, man, like it's almost like it's insulting your intelligence, because they're trying to say you're not intelligent enough to be able to teach me anything. So you're wrong all the time. You know what I mean? And that's people like that you gotta run away from. If you like see people and they can't, you've never seen them or heard them admit to either making a mistake or being wrong in a particular situation, or even having being man or woman enough to apologize in a situation where they were wrong, like you gotta run away from that situation, because like more likely than not, you're being gaslighted in that situation. Like that's the chances are, like, because usually people kind of dance around it, and to do that they gaslight you, make you think you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. It's always an excuse attached to things too, as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Those people are going to drain your gas tank, man. They're going to drain your fuel, bro. They're going to drain you. Run. That's the thing. It's like those people obviously either have a personality disorder, or they're so unevolved in life is that they're just not self-aware. They're not at a point where like you just can't be around people like that. If there's somebody that never takes accountability, like you said, can never apologize, can never admit when they're wrong, what are they going to pour to your pot? What are they going to add to your life? They're not going to be able to. They're just going to take. They're going to drain you, because it's like every time you're walking on eggshells with these people, because it's like they're never ever like, you got to always please these people. You're going to have to bow down at them essentially. They don't ever take accountability. It's like there's no self-awareness there. And
Yeah,
it's like
you can't hang out with people that don't know how to accept constructive criticism.
no, not at all. Can't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's a shame too. There are tough decisions sometimes because you got to cut people out that like may have been close to you, and like but it's like when you come to a point where it's like, look, it's like there's no accountability. It's like I've seen it unfortunately so many times. It's just it's something that, you know, a lot of people struggle with being accountable, or like you said, ever admitting they're wrong, or ever these are people that can do no wrong in their head. It's like
it's crazy.
Yeah, and it's dangerous too, man, because those people can get you in some really, really crazy situations if you're not careful.
Yeah, and they're always going to believe that you're the one that's wrong when something happens. Like you said, gaslighting's a big thing too. They try to make you seem like you're the crazy one, or you're the fucked up one, even though the other one that, you know, it was their fault of why something happened. It's like, we're not perfect. We all make mistakes. It's like, I'm not saying that person's always wrong. It's like, but if you're man enough or a woman enough to apologize, it's like, but they can't. Hey, what are they really adding? It's like, hey, we got to go different ways. Hey.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, it's like one of those things where it's either, you know, they're always right or they're always a victim. You feel me? And it's like, you know, because it's always an excuse or it's always someone else's fault. You feel me? And see, that to me is just like, no one's ever taught you, or you never learned how to take accountability. You know what I mean? A part of controlling what you can control is being able to take accountability for either your actions, or be able to take accountability for you know, like your, not just your actions, but take accountability for maybe even some form of ignorance that you once had. You know what I'm saying? Like, even that is like, hey, you're controlling what you can control in those situations, because, you know, you're acknowledging, hey, maybe back here I kind of messed up, or maybe back here I said the wrong thing, you know, and acknowledge it, and you're owning up to it, and you're like, man, listen, you're acknowledging that, hey, I grew up from this moment, you know, or this action. I can admit that I was wrong in that action. And the moment you do that, the second that you do that, you actually are growing. You're growing away from that ignorance, or the ignorance of that action. The second that you can admit, you know, what that was. You know what I mean?
Agreed. And that's where it starts. It's like you have to be able to you have to be able to do that to evolve and grow. It's like we can't progress on things if we don't take accountability and admit our own mistakes. It's like there's nothing to move forward with. It's like at the end of the day, it's like you're stuck in your own personal beliefs and mindset. But it sucks sometimes. Our ego gets in the way sometimes. That's the thing. It's like that's a big thing too with accountability is ego. You know, we don't want to ever seem like we're wrong. But it's like as you get older, you start to realize it's not about that. It's not you versus everybody. You don't always have to be like on edge and like have to protect like your own ego and stuff. It's like you have to put that ego down sometimes. It's like a shield. It's going to keep you from growing. It's going to block your pathway. You know, you have to, if you want to grow, you have to be accountable. You have to admit your wrongs because we're not perfect. We're human beings. Everybody makes mistakes. Ain't no perfect human being in this world. So there's no such thing. So it's like, you know, some people just always never want to seem like they're wrong. And it's like, hey, you know, it can start in many areas too. It can start in the household. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's brain chemistry from that personality disorder, but sometimes it's learned behavior too. Sometimes I think if we're in a household and we're pampered all the time and told them that we're special and that like we're this and we're that, and like it's like almost makes you believe that you can do no freaking wrong. I've seen it, like people putting their own children on pedestals, and then they grow up and they create a freaking monster. You see them when they get to their 20s, like I can't even say names, but I know people. Mario probably knows too. I know like there's some people like that.
Oh boy,
yeah. I know some people that like, you know, like I've seen these kids from like when they were a like little kid, like, you know, I knew them like since I was young, since I was young, like, and they grow up and their parents fucking put them on a damn pedestal, and now in their fucking 20s or even 30s, it's like they take a temper tantrum when they don't get their freaking way, because it's like they're mad at the, like, oh, I'm right, I'm wrong. Like they think that they're owed shit in life. And
Yeah.
that's the
And
thing.
unfortunately for them, they realize that the real world does not operate that way.
Real world does not operate that way. Life don't give a shit about what you want all the time. It's just
It's
like
going to chew you. It's going to chew you up and spit you right back the fuck out, man.
like the Rocky movie. He said, he's like, like, let me tell you something you already know. Life's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's a cold, mean, nasty place, and it'll beat you to your freaking knees if you let it. Like, I mean, that's how life is. You learn a lot of lessons on the other side of it, though. That's the thing. You hit tough lessons, but you learn things. For most people, some people, it's just, it's always an excuse. Like, oh, like life's unfair. The world hates me. It's like, it's just,
Yeah, man.
what,
It's killed or be killed out here, man. What do you what do you mean? Like you go like that's like all right, let's say we're in the jungle, right? We're in the animal kingdom, we're in the jungle, right? And it's like, there's the predators and then there's the prey, right? And like imagine like going through life, and I got a reference to something that you had said earlier too, Mario. But imagine you're going through life and you're a predator. You're everything. Even when you get beat down some days, you still get yourself back up. You still lick your wounds. You still move forward. You still go after that prey. You still go after what you want, right? And then you got some folks who, like you just said, they're the victim. The whole world's against them. It's almost like you're the prey. You're getting eaten up. You're getting beat down. So what do? You're curling the ball. And you're like, poor me. Oh my God. And it's like, man, you know how many people probably been through what you've been through, or even worse. Like it's always somebody who's going through something worse than what you're going through. So don't get too down. That's why even I'm gonna use another Jalen Hurts quote. Don't get too high. Don't get too low on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because if you get too low on yourself, then it's like like I just said, you're in a ball, poor me, boo hoo. And then when you get too high, it's like, oh, you think you can't learn nothing. Nobody could teach you nothing. You know everything. All right. And then that's when people get, they get punched in the face, and that's what you were saying. Like a lot of people who, Mario, they just been coddled to this point where it's not realistic. Like when they get into the real world, and I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all might crack up, y'all may think this fun. I'm dead serious though, yo. Like
I'm thinking, I'll tell you after. I'm thinking of another Jalen Hurts quote.
a lot of the people that I see who's never been taught like how to have humility or like how to take accountability. Like a lot of those people are honestly the people that I see on cams getting like slammed down by the police and stuff like that and thrown around because they don't know how to listen. Like they don't want to take accountability. They don't want to listen. They can't be like even obey simple instructions because they're so far gone. They don't think they have to do anything for anybody. They don't think that they have to listen to anybody. And then, like you said, life it'll chew you up and spit you out. And those people are the ones that get that. They get that, the body slammed on the ground. They get thrown around and stuff, dragged on the floor and stuff. And then they're the first one on the news crying, talk about they're the victim and stuff like that.
It's almost like a fuck around and find out. Like it's like
Wait, there's consequences to my actions. What?
Exactly.
I was thinking of the Jalen Hurts quote. I was like, hey man, I guess they got handed an L. But what did Jalen Hurts say? He's like, sometimes it's like a deuce. What do you do with a douche? You flush it down.
don't what do you say? Don't look at it, just flush it down the toilet.
After a loss, he's like, it's like a deuce. What do you do with a douche? You flush it down. And you move on.
That's funny. I forgot about that.
He's like, people are like, yo, Jalen Hurts is weird. That was like his first year. He's like, when you do with the douche, you flush it down. That's a life too. You know what you gotta do? You take an L, you gotta flush it down and keep it moving.
Stare at it like that's crazy, man. I mean, that's the truth though. You gotta take your licks, understand,
truth.
Even with the deuce connotation, like you take a deuce, there's still some sense of relief after you take it. You feel me? So it's still a good, positive experience. It's shit. Who wants to deal with or smell or see shit, right? Who wants to fucking deal with that? Exactly. But at the end of the day, your relief is out of you. You're not the one full of shit no more. You know,
Exactly.
that's the fact. That's the fact of the matter. And it's important to just do what you got to do, get through the shit, pun intended,
Literally,
and
literally,
flush it.
literally.
And so but that goes for everything in life. Just take what you can from each experience and learn from it and grow from it. And I 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be good. You know what I mean?
That's the critical thing. Once you start to kind of understand that perception, you start to understand more. It just comes with experience. I feel some people learn things more faster than others. Some people learn things slower than others. But it just comes with life. Life's going to teach you a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
You got that right, man. Time to start flushing. Let's go.
Yep, flush it. And even sometimes the toilet might get jammed. You might have to take
boy.
the plunger out, start getting to work. But
sometimes it doesn't want to go away that L.
Plumbers are going to love this podcast, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, shout out to the plumbers. Watch
it's like speaking of the plumbers, it's like call for all your plumbing needs. It's like you work it into like an ad.
Yeah.
Yeah, advertise your products on the Locked In podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Home Depot, where you at? Come on.
Sometimes
oh wait, yo, Rich, they're out of plungers, man. They sold out.
I would work it into something like it. Sometimes, guys, we're just deep in shit in life. Speaking of deep in shit, for all your deep in shit.
This video is sponsored by Home Depot.
It's like deep in shit in life. It's like us, but if you are deep in shit, literally, it's like us. Call for all your plumbing needs. We'll get those pipes of life unclogged.
Yo, let's get the transitions going. Yo, let's have the pre-recorded transitions in there for it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I needed that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank everybody for rocking with us too out there. A lot of them are on. I didn't have a chance to text everybody because I was going from one thing to another, so I didn't really get to send my text list, which helps a lot. But we got some good views on Facebook and stuff. No comments, but it's also a late one, so I understand. Guys, if you are watching like after the rebroadcast, which a lot of people do a lot of times, and some people comment, you feel free to still comment and we appreciate that. Definitely it helps us out, and definitely feel free to drop comments because I still answer them. I still answer them even after. So even if you write next week or over the weekend or whatever, I'll still answer your comments. Can't believe it's already Labor Day weekend.
I know, man. Damn.
Time is flying. Birds football is already back next Friday. That's one good thing to look forward to next week. Eagles football.
Man. Yes, sir. Go Birds.
This is history.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Starts at the Super Bowl. It's a bounce back. Revenge tour.
Yep. And first,
everybody's doubting us this year for the collapse. So revenge tour.
Yeah. Nick Wright is running his big mouth. This looks like a freaking. Never mind.
He's always going to run his mouth because he's a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, that's somebody we got to flush down the toilet, man. I'm telling you, that's.
Yeah, if it's a person that has to be flushed down the toilet, it's definitely Nick Wright.
Yeah, he's up there. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, and we ain't getting no plumber to get him out either, man. We're gonna let him go all the way down.
Nope. Hair caught up on the pipes, everything.
It's gonna be weird not hearing any my Cowboys this year. Since Skip's out.
I know, yeah. Shannon Sharp left that show, man. It was never the same.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I'll miss that.
I know, man. Skip ruined it. Yeah. He ruined it. He ruined his relationship with Shannon Sharp, man. Like, I don't know if they're still cool, man, but like he definitely went a different way with the show because of it, man. I definitely think that affected when he it was when the whole Tom Brady thing went down. Like he's just like he like what did he say? He said he said something like he's
that
like
was stupid.
Yeah, he's like, you act like I was a bum. He's like, I was a Hall of Famer. And he's like, yeah, you'll never be as good as Tom Brady and stuff. He just started saying like all crazy types of stuff. And that's the thing. You can't talk like that, dude. You've never played a professional sport in your life. Yes, you've covered sports for an extremely long time, but you've never been a professional athlete. Like how can you disrespect a three-time like
Super Bowl champion,
like somebody who's a Hall of Fame tight end? Like you can't can't do that. Like comparing him to Tom Brady. Tom Brady's a quarterback, and Tom Brady, yes, the GOAT, but like at the end of the day, like there's a lot of luck that has to go into that too. I'm not saying Tom Brady's not talented as hell. He takes care of his nutrition, his diet, and he prepares like crazy. He's obsessed, but I mean, just think Tom Brady had one bad injury his whole career. That just doesn't. That's not normal. So like there has to be a
No.
little luck that goes into it too. That. And there was a lot of obviously
Looks like Tuck rule.
Tuck rule,
Spygate.
Spygate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of cheating scandals. I'll give Brady the last 4 Super Bowls he won, cool, but the first 3 there was a lot of scandal to them. Even the fourth one, they were trying to get Deflategate, but that didn't really hold up because the Broncos got blown out the following week, so that didn't really hold up.
Those stupid Colts, man.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, not the Broncos. The Colts.
Yeah, it was the Colts.
Right.
Yeah.
Colts got blown out. Yeah.
It should have been the Broncos, but Peyton Manning choked. So.
Yeah, the Colts got blown out.
Yeah, man.
But
that's about perception, bro.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You gotta like Skip needs to be mindful enough to like you gotta value like this is the end of the day. It goes deeper than just a professional connection. Like this guy's supposed to. I think Shannon was just so disappointed like after it happened. Like when he like looked at Skip, it was probably like in his head he's just thinking, man, I just lost a brother. Like this dude is like I think Skip like his jealousy or hatred. Like I think Shannon's perception of him just shifted. He's like, wow, like I never thought he would like take that type of blow. He took shots at him, dude, like personal.
Yeah, well, that was personal, man. I mean,
yeah, he made that personal.
It's a sports show. You debate sports, you debate facts, you debate topics. I mean, it shouldn't get personal like that.
Yeah, he got super personal. He went, guys, you can go back to the first episode that we did of Undisputed. This man has hated on Tom Brady since. He's like, because his career's been like, or whatever he said, subpar compared to Tom Brady. He could never, like, he took personal shots at Shannon Sharp, like, kind of sounded act like he was like his career was nothing. I was like, dude, wow. And when
that's wild. Especially a tight end, like it's extremely hard to win Super Bowls as a tight end.
How physical too. Shannon Sharp played in a physical era too.
Yeah, man. That's another thing with Tom Brady, bro. I mean, the Tom Brady had played in the '90s, man. They didn't have those rules back then to protect quarterbacks like they do right now, man.
Yeah, he would have got his block knocked off back in the day if you seen some of the hits that Sims.
You remember some of the hits that John Lynch of the Buccaneers used to lay on people, man? Fucking nasty, dude. I'm like, man, you did not want to go up the middle. I'll tell you that.
Some of our guys, like Reggie White, used to put like real big hits on, Chris Sims' father, who played for the Giants. If you go back and look at some of the hits, even like that Troy Aikman took, man, like Reggie White and Jerome Brown, like they did some like big crazy hits on those guys, like late too. And I'm an Eagles fan. And I was like, think about things like the body bag bowl and stuff like that. Stuff like that doesn't happen no more. You know what I mean? So it's harder to win back then than it is now, in my opinion, like physically taxing.
And it was just a different game back then. It was a different game. People had different character. It was more about physicality and stuff like that. You didn't have like concussion protocol or anything like that. You didn't have CTE back then. It was just you go out there and just play the game. That's just how it was.
Yeah. And Steve, your mic is your mic's not working, buddy. I can't hear you. So yeah, but I agree with you, man. While he's making those adjustments, yeah, like I agree with you. It's physicality is just different. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. For some reason, it was like acting on my mic. I was saying, I was like, the game just caters to the offensive player so much now. It's like the game is so different. Like back in the day, you could take all them shots as a defensive player. Now defense, like I actually feel bad for some of the defensive players. You even tackle just like a weird way or something, like you just get flagged for it. Like the defense has to like kind of walk on eggshells of how they play the game nowadays compared to like back in the day where defensive players had a lot of free reign. Whereas now this is definitely a game. I understand with CTE and everything, but they're definitely some of the rules are very over the top to protect offensive players.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it's become very offensive. Yeah, it's tough to play defense nowadays. It's just you have to change the way you tackle. You have to change the way you scheme. So it's very, very tailored to the offensive side of the ball.
Agreed.
Yeah, bro.
Agreed.
Yeah, but it's all about perception, man. Like, that's one thing. Maybe he realized, like, he can't change Skip's perception about, how it was, someone who sits and writes reports, hasn't really played sports, and they still think they're right. They still think they know more than an actual professional athlete who's actually played the sport and won the Super Bowl in the sport. Maybe he kind of got tired of hearing, his opinion or his lack of acknowledgement for his experiences in that way. I know I would if I had put blood, sweat, and tears to the sport, and then you got somebody telling me what you did wasn't good enough. Man, I don't want to sit around and hear that like every week.
Yeah,
I'd be good.
it's like, dude, I know what I did and I know what I didn't. So you could tell me whatever the hell you want. At the end of the day, your opinion ain't valid to me.
Yeah, I'm in Canton. You're just on FS1. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Not no more.
Yeah. He gone. He out the door.
Yeah.
At the boot. I remember when Stephen A. Smith was coming at Max Kellerman telling him, like, oh, you never played any sports in your life. Yeah, Stephen A., you never played professional sports either. What you talking about, bro?
Nah.
In his mind, he did.
He was talking about when he played in like high school and so I'm like, oh, please, bro. It was never professional.
He played like college ball, but he wasn't that good anyway. Like he averaged like 5 points a game. He averaged like 5 points a game. So
he averaged more than LeVar Ball did. Damn. I think LeVar was 1.9 points a game.
BB, big baller brand.
Hey.
BB, big baller brand.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's what's up, yeah. But listen, man, I gotta get ready for our trip. You know what I'm saying? I gotta pack. You feel me? So I'm gonna have to hop off this jaunt.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So guys, I just want to thank both of you guys coming on as always. Got a great episode planned the next couple of weeks into the end of September, but it's episode 182. Guys, everybody else out there, thank you for rocking with us. If you're watching after, still comment. I'll get back to you guys. I'll always respond. But with that being said, guys, we'll see you next week for episode 183. Have a great night, a great Labor Day weekend. We'll see you next week for episode 183. Have a good night, guys.
Peace out.
Thanks for the invite, man. Good
Thank
night,
you.
Locked In Nation. Good night to the both of y'all, and I'll see you boys tomorrow. And let's get it, man. Let's have a good weekend.
Yes, sir. Let's have a good one. Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye.